This video will show you how to remove the stock intake on the Indian 111 Thunderstroke engines and install a thunder cone or similar external cone filter. You will need numerous tools, so after removing the bedpan chrome cover, next you will remove the stock paper air filter. Next you will remove the mounting plate for the filter with 3 screws, and it's held on very tightly with a rubber gasket around the butterfly valve, so you'll have to pull hard to get it off. Next you will want to remove 2 screws that are holding a mounting plate for the cool air intake coming into the back of the air filter. After removing that bracket, next you will depress 2 tabs on the cable and remove the plug and drop it down to the side. Now you will remove 4 bolts that holds the throttle body in place, holding it carefully as you take the last bolt out so you don't drop it and distort it. Then tuck the cable and wire through the back of the mounting plate. This plate will now come off easily as you pull it off the cold air intake gasket and the rubber pollution control tube. Okay, now you will push the cable through and remove the little rubber gasket from it. Then you will remove 4 bolts holding this metal plate onto the heads. Now we need to remove the cold air rubber vent above the intake manifold. So you've got to remove the 2 bolts holding the back end of the gas tank and then jam a little wooden wedge underneath it, lifting the tank up about a couple inches. If you're careful, you will not need to disconnect the fuel lines at all. With the tank lifted up, you'll be able to see 2 bolts holding on a metal bracket that mounts the rubber cold intake gasket. Once you get these 2 bolts out, you can wiggle and maneuver the rubber vent and the metal retaining bracket out from. Then you can put the tank back down in position and reattach the 2 bolts that hold it in place. Now finally, your intake manifold is naked and exposed, and you can begin reassembly. First, by bolting the throttle body back on the same way that it was taken off. Notice how the motor for the throttle is facing forward. Go back through and be sure to tighten down all 4 bolts firmly. You are now ready to install the thunder cone intake and air filter. Reattach the cable to the throttle body, and you can put it back in its little clip. Now install the 2 O-ring seals over the throttle body. Now install the 2 aluminum offset rods into the number 2 cylinder head and make them firm with your hands. Finally, it is time to put the intake in place. Notice the little notches cut out, and they fit over some little raised areas on the throttle body. So nestle it in place, at the same time connect up the pollution control hose, get everything lined up and press it in firmly. Next you will install the 2 screws into the offset rods. You might have to wiggle it a bit to get them lined up, and tighten them firmly, but not over tightened. And last, there's a clamp going around the base of the intake. Find where the set screw is and tighten it up firm, but not too tight, just enough to make it so it's not wiggling. Now that you're done, just inspect everything and check everything to make sure it's firmly attached and you are ready to roll.